Hello and welcome to the second episode of Up the Villa podcast. My name's Luke Robinson and thank you for tuning in to our second episode. So football's back, Aston Villa were back in action and we drew 0-0 with Sheffield United at home. It was a weird experience for me watching Aston Villa, not being in that crowd, not cheering the boys on. And like I say, it was just a very weird and surreal experience to be watching your team playing behind closed doors. I was optimistic going into the game, slightly nervous at the same time because we all know what's at stake within the next 9-10 games, and it was crucial that we got off to a really good start. So I'm going to give my thoughts on the game to start with, and then we'll hear from the Villa faithful and hear their thoughts on what they thought of yesterday, and all things Aston Villa. So going into the game, I was very, very positive. I thought we would have had a real good training the last few weeks. We'd have knuckled down and learnt from the mistakes that we made, in the last part of the season, to be fair, where we've really dipped in form. So, when the team sheet came out, and I knew Dean Smith was going to put in a few little names in there where you were really unexpected. I thought he was going to put Jota in there for some reason. Don't know why, but that's just what I thought. But to see Keenan Davis in there, that was probably the standout name where I was a little bit, texting the lads thinking, what's he doing here? What's going on? But all in all, to be fair, it was a real good shout, and I think he played well, to be fair. So, looking at the team sheet, I was quite happy with it, really. Just I thought he might have gone with Samatta rather than Keenan Davis. And, the first 20 minutes, I thought we played really well. We were confident, we were knocking it round, and we looked like the better team, and we was really imposing ourselves on Sheffield United. But as the game wore on, Sheffield United came into it a little bit more. Obviously, there was a major talking point in the first half, which I'm not going to talk about in a minute. I'll let the callers discuss that as well. But first off, apart from what happened with Hawkeye, I was happy with how we played. We seemed to be a lot more compact. Defensively, we weren't really giving much away, which was really good. So I would say what's compared to being back at the minute is defensively, and the shape of the team looks a lot better. Going into the second half, we had that ball that went through the 6-yard box and Keenan nearly got on the end of it. We had Keenan's volley and Henderson pulled off a real good save. McGinn had that chance where his eyes lit up, my eyes lit up. I thought this is going in, and he sort of stuck it on the wrong side of where it needed to go, really. So I thought we had a lot of chances. We had quite a few attempts, and we had about 6 on target, so we created enough, and Sheffield United only created that one chance as well. So in my opinion, I feel like we did enough to warrant getting the win. It was just, I felt that we lacked that little bit of intensity towards the end, and sort of that little bit of belief to go for it. It sort of did have a pre-season feel to it. It didn't seem to have the Premier League pace about it, and I think that's obviously justified, really. We've been away from action for quite a while now, so it did seem to get a little bit leggy towards the end of the game. But all in all, I thought it was a good performance. We played well, and I feel like if that was the first game of a season, we'd all be sitting there thinking, you know what, we actually played good, the shape was good, and there's room for improvement here. But here's my but, and obviously you guys know I'm super positive. I don't feel like we can play that way for the next 9 games and have it as tight as what it probably was in that game. I feel like we need wins at the minute, and because our game in hand's now been took away from us now, so we level on games with everybody else, it now sort of feels like it's not in our hands at the minute. We're the ones that have got to earn the right to remain in this league now, because the points aren't with us. We are going to have to be looking at the other teams that are above us, and we are now sort of playing catch up. So yeah, although it was a good performance, we still need the wins, and we need that intensity, and we need to pick up the pace fast. We've got Chelsea on Sunday now, and you'd like to maybe hope that we've got a game in hand on them, fitness wise, preparation wise. We know what to expect from the game playing at Villa Park now, so on that front hopefully it's going to go in our favour. But we do need that little bit more drive, that little bit more, being more dynamic, and definitely taking our chances, because like I said, Keenan played well. I was impressed with his hold up, his all round play was brilliant, but the one thing he lacks is that natural finisher. And if we are going to be giving him 4 or 5 chances a game and he's not putting any of them away, then that is going to be a worry, because obviously we need goals to stay in this league. So all in all, I thought he played really well. Another player who I thought was really good, and I've sung his praises all season, and I know he's had some stick, is Dougie Luiz. I just think he's brilliant. I think, this season he's been caught out. Maybe it's the language barrier, but last night I thought he completely dictated that game in midfield. He was everywhere, his positioning was brilliant, his passing was brilliant, and I think if that's a sign for things to come, he's the one that looks bang up to speed at the minute as well. McGinn, I thought he drifted through the game. He got the minutes that he needed, so hopefully he can sort of come on a little bit more and be the McGinn we know he can be. I thought Jack was a little bit quiet. I don't really like seeing Jack going so deep for the ball, picking it off Hurahan and then trying to start the attack. I feel like if Keenan's going to be holding that ball up, we need him sniffing around them knockdowns. We need him in and around that 18-yard box. And I do feel like it's quite difficult for him on the edge of the 18 and he's having to drift and cut inside. I feel like we need him more centrally, so that's an area that I think we need to improve on a little bit as well. But all in all, I thought we played well. If it's a sign of things to come, hopefully we can improve and we bang at it for the Chelsea game. Let's get straight into the callers and we'll bring them straight through into the podcast. Hello, and we're joined now by Justin, so he's going to give us his thoughts on the 0-0 that we played out against Sheffield United. So what are your overriding thoughts and emotions after it?
All right, Luke, nice to speak to you again, mate. It was a big build up to the game, a lot of expectation, a lot of big break from the last time we played, so a bit longer than a pre-season, so usual, looking forward to the game. And then Villa did what Villa do best, really, disappoint. I'm obviously a very, as you've said in the past many times, I'm a very positive person.
Yeah.
But I'm also not blind, so watching that game brings back a lot of, disappointing aspects of what our season is, really, which has been a catalogue of errors and not quite good enough. I think yesterday proved that once again, really, Smith.
Obviously we saw the team sheet and the major surprise for us all was probably Keenan Davis started. What were your thoughts on his performance then?
It's very difficult because we don't have the manager and the coaches. They see him day in, day out on the training ground. So I always like to sort of think that if you've got that as a manager, that you're day in, day out with them, then you can. If your opinion is sort of gazumps a fan's opinion, so he obviously saw enough in him in the build up, and in maybe the one or two that sort of run outs they've had to throw him in. I think ultimately Smith got it tactically wrong. I think Davis is a decent target man. I think he's good up front. He holds the ball up well. We all know he's not and doesn't never look like he's going to be prolific in the goal scoring stakes. So I think realistically, I would have personally liked to have seen him play up front with Samatta and Jack in behind, which brings me to the other problem I think we've got with the side. Is El Ghazi and Trezeguet. They always look the part. They look like they've got the ability, they've got the pace, they look like they're going to rip people apart. But ultimately, they always flatter to deceive. They don't beat a man. Their crossing is quite poor. So for me, it was a bit of a waste playing El Ghazi. We didn't really see a lot of him in the first hour. And then he gets replaced by Trezeguet, and he's sort of like for like, really. He gets the ball, he sort of drops a shoulder, and then you think, right, deliver, and then he stops. So for me personally, I would have liked to have seen him go a bit more attack-minded and playing Samatta with Davis as a foil, because I think he has got good movement, Samatta. And then Jack in the number 10 role, that's got to be the position we've got to get him into. He's our main man, so play him in the middle of the park where he can cause the most amount of damage.
Yeah. I mean, I've said that in my intro to this podcast today, that I still feel like Grealish out wide on that left, he's the focal point to our team, but we've still not seen enough of him in the game doing the stuff that we know he can do, getting in those right areas. And I think, especially with Keenan Davis yesterday, it did slightly feel like a little bit like Wesley still, so that the hold-up play was okay, but there's nobody nowhere near him. So we've still got that sort of problem, and that's where I feel Jack, we need him most. We need to see him coming off that striker or being in and around the striker to cause more damage. So for me, it was still a little bit on that front. We were a little bit sort of still clueless in the way we were trying to go about it. What do you feel like the shape of the team? Did you think we looked more solid at the back?
Yeah, this is what I'm saying about Smith. He said he's come out before and he said that they've gone one-on-one with all the players. They've spoke to them. Must have watched all the games back. So to go in with a very similar mentality and setup and ultimately end product was very disappointing. At home with 10 games to go, with a relegation, looking right down at us, head on now, I would have liked to have seen a similar kind of setup. I sort of get the Consta thing, but for me, he's not a right back, and you've got a right back there who's probably the best deliverer of the ball in the club in Al Mohammed. He's not everybody's cup of tea, but he puts a great ball into the box. So at home against a team like Sheffield United, who ultimately weren't very good yesterday, and we missed a trick, I would have liked to have seen the fullbacks getting forward better, the midfield three, which I think was probably the right midfield three, pushing another 5 years forward, Jack in the 10 role. We did go a bit more direct to Davis, but it was sort of counterproductive because there wasn't enough players around him. But if you had Samatta around him and Grealish in the 10, then that's fine. You can play the ball into him a bit quicker and go more direct. And especially if your midfield three have pushed further forward and your fullbacks are further forward. Yeah. I know it's a risky strategy because we have been very loose at the back and we've conceded lots of goals, but we've got to win games. It's not a matter of sitting back. We've got to win games of football. It's not the start of the season. We're not looking at 38 games. We're looking at 9. So we've got to be more positive.
Yeah. I've also said this in the intro as well, that if that was the first game of the season, we would be sitting here now thinking, you know what, we played well, we've got stuff to build on, we can get better and better. But like you've just alluded to, we've now got 9 games to go and we're in the relegation zone. There's got to be a point where we're not taking a striker and putting another striker on. We're not taking El Ghazi off and putting Trezeguet on. It's got to be a system change, which is going to change the game and get the goals. Because, like we're both really positive, but we are sort of running out of games to play. So who do you think your man of the match was?
I thought Hurahan played quite well, to be honest. It is obviously very difficult watching at home. You don't get the full idea of the game. But he wasn't wasteful in possession, which he has been quite a few times this season. His delivery from set pieces was very good, I thought. He generally got it in good areas. And he did try and get around the pitch and sort of get things going. So he probably would have edged it. I thought Douglas Luiz did okay. Still like to see a bit more out of him. It's just, we're Villa fans, isn't we? We know the script. We know, the last 20 minutes, I can't be the only one sitting there waiting for the sucker punch to happen. Yeah. I think it kept coming up. They'd had another shot on target. Yeah. You think, well, the first shot on target's going in. But we did hold out, and we got away with one with the old Nyland mistake. So
that was very un-Villa-like, wasn't it? Because normally that would have just been...
We never make mistakes, do we? We never make mistakes normally. Yeah, I mean, we created 2 or 3 pretty decent opportunities. The header from the header back across goal.
Yeah.
Well, I thought that was a poor miss, to
Yeah,
be
I did
honest.
as well. He should have done better.
And I think like the McGinn chance when it was a nice bit of movement to the edge of the box and he created like a yard for himself. And I think had McGinn been 5 or 6 games played 5 or 6 games previously, I think he'd have probably whipped one in the other corner. To be honest,
I think so as well.
There.
So how did you find watching it? Did you?
It was all right. Yeah, I was flicking between the one with the commentary and no background noise and the one with, and I couldn't make my mind up which one was better really. But I think I fell more on the one with a little bit of atmosphere because it felt more natural.
It was actually like Villa chance though, wasn't it? It wasn't like it was just totally random noise. So to me, it didn't sound that bad.
It wasn't. I think there must be someone there that's just pressing the button for
the goal.
That's a goal. That's that's a mistake. They must be pressing the mistake button over and over again with the Villa.
Yeah.
Go on.
What did you make of where Dean Smith was watching it from?
It must be nice for them. I did think that, like all the subs, that they're all sitting in the stands away from each other. You got Smith and Richard O'Kelly and Terry, perched sort of halfway up the stand, so they've got a good view. It's not far away from where we sit, really, middle of the Trinity. Normally, we're a bit further to the left.
Yeah.
And although it is a good angle to watch football from because you get a better idea, I always find lower down on the touchline, you don't really get a good perspective of the game. So I can understand why he did it, and obviously it's easier to get messages backwards and forwards because there's no crowd there. So it's for him, he must quite enjoy that, really.
Yeah. So what going into this Chelsea game now? They're not getting any easier. So do you feel like we'll have a slight advantage that we've done it before we've played the game, or do you feel like?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. I don't want to use it's a must-win game, but we're not far away from there now. I was talking to my brother today. We talk all, as you know, we not constantly talk for all day, 8 hours a day. That's all we talk about. And we come to the conclusion that whilst Chelsea are obviously a step up from Sheffield United, then we might be able to glean an advantage that we have now been through this lockdown sort of game once. We are at home again, so it's going to be familiar. The whole sort of scenario will be very familiar for the Villa players. They'll know exactly what's going on. They'll have played in that atmosphere, so they'll understand it a bit better. And ultimately, we've played one competitive game, whereas they haven't. They'll be coming into it cold, having not played. So this is why we go back to the old. We need to be more on the front foot again. We need to be the team that are trying to win the game. And that might cost us the game ultimately, but we're running out of time now. So let's try and win it instead of trying not to lose it.
Yeah, definitely.
That's where we are now.
Definitely. So what's your score prediction going to be then for Sunday?
I've got to be sensible. I think if we can get a draw, anything more than a draw is absolutely fantastic. I would snap your hands off the draw right now and then move on to what I would hope is a more winnable game next week against Newcastle. So I'm going to be positive and say 1-1.
Cool.
But a better performance, which will set us up better.
Definitely. So thank you for your call, Justin. Happy birthday. And I'll speak to you soon. Thank you. So we're now joined by our second caller, Ryan. So how do you feel the game went?
I feel like the buzz of the build-up was fantastic. I think the Twitter feed was full of Villa content. Everybody on the same page. Everyone was buzzing for the game. And I think the buzzword really now is flat.
Yeah.
I think everyone's just a bit dejected. They feel a bit flat about it. Whether it was the time of the kickoff, 6 p.m, was a bit funny. Us not being there was a major thing. The manufactured crowd noise that was being pumped through the telly. It took its time to digest. All these the new normal, really, didn't it?
Yeah.
And then as a fan at home, I felt quite isolated.
Yeah.
That last 20 minutes when we was under the cosh.
Yeah.
You just feel like you want to be in the crowd, backing the boys. With all your fan base, the togetherness of the crowd. But the nerves in that last 20 minutes was really kicking in.
Yeah.
And when you're at the game, you're consumed.
Yeah.
Within the game, you got the togetherness of the crowd, and you feel like you can
lift
play your part.
Can't we?
Yeah, we can lift it, and definitely, we can lift it.
I'm with you, really. I felt we spoke about in the last podcast about how we feel the crowd was going to go, and my overriding emotion from the game was we needed to be there yesterday, because there was times in that game, especially the second half towards the end of it, where it was petering out a bit like a friendly. We'd had the best chances. They'd had one shot on target. If we'd have just upped that intensity a little bit more, there's no reason why we couldn't have won that game. And that, like you say, it was flat, wasn't it? You came away from it thinking, oh no, here we go. We're in trouble now. But I think coming away from it and thinking about it today, I try and look for the positives. It was a point. We've gained a point from our game in hand. So now, there's pressure on Sunday's game, and we've got to be at it again. But at least we've got through the first game now, which is probably going to be the hardest one. So hopefully that might go in our favour against Chelsea now. They've got it all to do now, haven't they? They've got to experience it, and we can just go out there and play, basically. So let's talk about some of the players. How do you think Keenan Davis did up front?
Oh, we've got to remember it was his first Premier League start. He's been around for years, but it was still his first start. And I thought he put himself about real well. The one he took down on his chest, he done well to bring it down and get his shot away. And to be fair, it was a good save. It was a good reaction save. The header, I thought maybe he could have done a little bit better in the first half on the corner.
Definitely.
But, apart from... Again, he was quite isolated himself.
Yeah.
Last season, when Dean Smith first come in, it was get the ball up to Tammy hold it up, and the midfield go and back him up. Yeah. And we started to do that yesterday, but he was isolated again. There's nobody at that second ball.
I've just said this to the Justin as well, that it sort of felt a bit like Wesley was up front again. The fact that he's holding it up, but there's nobody within 6 yards of him. So if we're sort of thinking, okay, we played well yesterday, but now we've only got 9 games to go, and we're in the relegation zone.
Yeah,
we can't just play well, can we? That's my only major concern. We can't just keep playing well and playing like we did yesterday and limping over the line, and then there'll become a point where we've got to get 4 points to be level with the team above us. Do you see what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I think somewhere, and I know it's difficult that it was our first game back, but I feel like we need to up that intensity fast. And I think there were players that stood out. Was there anybody else that you thought of looked at and thought he looked better?
I think the midfield done quite well. Of Horahan, Louise, and McGinn. Louise looked, he looked like he'd worked on that position. He'd gained some tactical knowledge of that defensive midfield role. He looked comfortable. There was a slight little spell. He was on the 30th minute. He'd done a tactical foul. And then he'd done one straight after and got a booking.
You're thinking one more and you're done, mate.
And then your man was virtually going down. You give him a little nudge. I'm thinking, gosh, you're going to get taken off in a minute because you're really pushing it. But after that, he had a really good game. And
I thought he was man of the match. I thought, honestly, I know he's had a lot of stick recently, but I thought I looked at him and he was one player. I thought, you know what, you look 10 times better. Your positioning was better. Your passing, your distribution was a lot better. So on that front, I think he was 10 times better. Yeah,
and I thought Connor had a good game as well. Connor is always the fall guy. He'll have one brilliant game and then he'll have a terrible game and you won't see him again for another 5. But I think on that left-hand side of midfield, he links up with Jack well. Yeah. He covers Jack. And when Target goes forward, he covers Target. So it makes it just a little bit more solid down that side. If he was a more consistent player, he'd be a Premier League player for years and years. But
and like we're saying, though, the flat thing, your overriding emotion coming away from that game now is you're starting to think like, we actually did all right. Like, we played well. but for me, we're just missing something, and I just think it's that gap between the striker and probably where Grealish is.
Definitely.
It needs to be closer and the right person in the right areas and involved a lot more. You know, I went to the and you went to the Leicester game, didn't you? The last away game, and it was Grealish's worst game. He touched the ball the least amount of times. But I'm looking at yesterday and I'm thinking he didn't really touch it that much. I don't think. Do you think he was involved much? Or?
No, but when I was looking for the highlights, you know, when Al Ghazi put it across the box for Davis, and Davis had his Gascoigne 96 moment where he just inches wide. Grealish was inside, beat a couple of players, and he played that ball in. And then McGinn's chance, it was Grealish on the left. So even though he weren't involved as much as we want him to be, you know, he did have his moments, quiet moment, you know, quietly going about his business.
Yeah.
And you're going back to that. I think it is just that getting that final third right.
Definitely.
You know, the team does magnetise towards the left where Grealish is, and I think that left Al Ghazi a bit isolated on that side. Konza, you know, he's a centre half playing the right back. He's not going to get up and support Al Ghazi. So I think, come on, take the initiative, son. Move a bit closer to Davis. So when that ball comes in, get in and around Davis.
Yeah.
And you know, you're gonna create some chances for yourself.
Yeah. So going into like the Chelsea game now, what are your thoughts going into that game?
I think we're going to gain confidence off this game. Yeah, Sheffield United are no mugs. They've lost 2 games away all season. They're 6th in the league. You know, 5th place is looking like it's going to be Champions League if Man City's ban's upheld. So, you know, they're going for Champions League, really, Sheffield United. So we were so close to doing a job on them. You know, we had our chances. If we would have been a bit more ruthless and took them chances, we'd be praising Smith going, brilliant job. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant job. So it is them fine margins, but like I say, hopefully the last 20 minutes, if we keep things tight, the last 20 minutes over the sharp, you know, we get a bit more sharp.
Yeah.
You know, we've scored a lot of last-minute goals, so hopefully we can continue.
And I mean, if you look at the stats from the game as well, they had 1 shot on target. I mean, when was the last time a team had 1 shot on target against us? We've been conceding like 15 chances a game in some games. So looking at that front, we did look a lot tighter. So hopefully, if we can just edge up the pitch a bit further and focus on that side to it. But then, you know what's going to happen? We're going to be going the other way again.
That's the problem, And we're running out of games to get it right, aren't we? So
I just don't want us to be having to chase them points.
No, I know.
I feel like if you're getting, you know, what are we? We're 1 point now, so it's 1.
Yeah.
We can't have it being 4. It can't be 4
you're back in
because
trouble
then
then.
We are definitely, like you say. So I know you touched on sitting at home watching it. How did you feel watching it at home?
I don't know. Like I said, I just felt a bit isolated. It was a bit lonely, you know. Even watching
you feel like you're in lockdown watching it though?
Yeah. It was, you know, sometimes if you can't go to the game and you watch it and you see the fans there, you still feel part of it. But like I say, we had no impact on the game. You know, if they need a bit of cheering on, the whole thing gets behind them. You know, it's great, but just no, it didn't. And the crowd noise was a bit. I'm a bit undecided on that. Really, a couple of times it hit the side net, and it was cheers, and then no, it's not a goal. So I don't know. I couldn't quite work it out, but I didn't realise.
On Hawkeye?
Oh, great! You know, I'll tell you what. We deserve that. We owed it. That's for Crystal Palace. You know, we still owed Arsenal amongst others. So just keep.
It was a Villa goal to concede, though, wasn't it? I mean, it was just a shocker, wasn't it?
If we would have lost that game, it would have been it would have been heartbreaking because we talked about the individual errors, and Billy Sharp was going nowhere. Konza gives away a silly foul. And when your man hits it, I could see exactly where it was going. And I'm thinking, oh, my God, Nolan's backpedaling. And I know Keenan Davis sort of nudged him into the goal. But I'm thinking, mate, just tip it over. We'll defend the corner as a team, or just punch it if you don't feel comfortable.
Yeah.
But apart from that, he didn't really have much to do. But he was quite solid, wasn't he, Nolan?
Yeah, so all in all, I thought it was a good performance. So score prediction, Sunday, Chelsea, what are you going to go for?
I can see it being another draw, you know.
Can you?
My heart's saying a win, but I can see it being another draw. We have got a bit of advantage now that we've played in this situation, and we've got an extra game's match fitness, which hopefully will serve us well against Chelsea.
Definitely. Cool, mate. Thank you for your call. And,
no worries, mate.
I'll speak to you soon. Okay.
Brilliant. Up the Villa, mate.
Bye.
Cheers.
Okay, so we're on to our third caller now, Jacob. So how do you feel like the game went?
Me personally, I thought it was a really good game. I thought the lad in the centre, Jack Grealish, the star boy, I thought he was fantastic.
Yeah.
I do believe that he's onto bigger and better things in the future potentially, but I think his heart is at Aston Villa. He actually said in an interview prior to the lockdown that he wants to win trophies. He wants to stay at Aston Villa. It's his club. He didn't actually say he wanted to leave. So I think the media took that out of context completely in that respect. But just to slow things down on that as well, there's many players that showed up yesterday. Many players that showed their worth. I think Conor Hourihane, the forgotten man, at Villa Park was showed why he's a solid player and showed why he bleeds the club. He proved all his doubts was wrong. McGuinness in the centre, I thought he was quality. I thought he was an absolute machine, and animosity in his game. You could see that was what we needed and we were crying out for. And my honest opinion, I thought if McGinn hadn't got injured, he'd have been the poster boy alongside Grealish as a really good link-up. Yeah, I do think even the likes of Target, the ones that people maybe sort of flaked off towards the tail end of the season and were doubting, they played really, really well. And I can't really name a bad player. Even Courtney House, he made one bad error. Yeah. But one bad error in the game didn't lead to a goal. So
how do you feel Douglas Luiz played? Because I felt he was like star man as well. I think he looked 10 times better than how he'd been playing previously.
Yeah, one of the catalysts in midfield. I must admit, I was a bit worried about him on a yellow card.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But, at the same time, he kept his mental discipline and kept in the game, and that's credit to him. You can tell he's Brazilian by saying that. You can tell he's Brazilian. So.
It's always good when you got a Brazilian in your team, anyway. So what were your thoughts watching that Hawkeye moment?
The Hawkeye moment. Oh gosh, my heart was in my mouth alongside my dad. Didn't really know what to say. Yeah. I didn't really know what to do, but just credit to the officials for not getting that. I should say.
We drew a little bit of luck anyway.
Yeah, it's a little bit of luck at the end of the day, and I think at the same time we were due a bit of luck. So I did think that Amber El Ghazi conspicuous decision in the box. I thought that was an actual penalty.
Yeah, there was contact. That was a penalty. Yeah, there was definitely contact there. I just felt like maybe he just went down a little bit too flamboyant. It was a little bit more theatrical, wasn't it? So what are your thoughts after that game then now? So we got the points, still in the bottom three. Do you feel like we can build on that now? And do you see signs that we can get better?
I saw yesterday some great signs from the likes of Keenan Davis, the ones that maybe haven't really been on the first team sheet as of late, but are on the fringe of the team, but really came into action. Yeah. I'm really interested to see what the likes of the Henry Lansbys can do that have been in lockdown as well, that haven't really been spoken about all season, but had a big effect on the start of the season when, let's say, the Kevin Friendship went against us as well. But moving on from that, those are the sort of differences that can make or break a season, to be honest with you. So I do believe that we have what it takes in these last 9 games to stay up from what we showed last night. Yeah. So I think we've definitely got a chance, and we shouldn't be doubting ourselves by any stretch of the means.
So would you make any changes for the Chelsea game, or do you feel like the team did enough to stick with the same lineup?
I think the same lineup would be smart. However, I think we do need to roll the dice a bit more and let Keenan Davis stay on the pitch for a bit longer and prove his worth. Because had it not been for Dean Hendo last night, we'd have definitely had a 2-0 lead. I think any other keeper in the Prem, those go in, those 2 chances. So
yeah, and I feel like some fans are judging Keenan a little bit too harshly. I think, it wasn't that he messed those chances up or he didn't hit the target. he's fit. You know, like you say, the keeper made a real good save off that half volley as well. And you know, on another day that just flies into the top corner. So I feel like he did really well. And it was a starter that I sort of thought, I don't know, man. I thought maybe Samata should have started, but looking at it now, I think he's more than worthy of starting the next game. And like you say, you know, seeing what else he can do. My only thing I would say is I just hope somebody can get a little bit closer to him that can give him a little bit more support himself. I felt his hold-up play yesterday was brilliant, but he was a little bit isolated again. So, and maybe McGinn coming back to a little bit more fitness, he'll be the guy that can sort of get up and down a little bit more. So, you know, going into a Chelsea game, then what you thought? Score prediction? Do you feel like we can get a win, or?
I think anything's possible with Villa. It's the theatre of maybes, as my dad always says. So
Yeah.
I do truly believe that if we throw in the likes of Trez again, second half, it's up to Dino at the end of the day. But I think Trez came on and he really showed his worth again as to why he got an eye for goal. I think if you put him in and pressing against the likes of the Chelsea defence to keep it short and sweet, he's definitely going to be a threat, a force to be reckoned with, should I say, against those defenders.
Yeah, and I just feel like hopefully we've got a bit of an advantage that we've done it before now. We've already played a game. Hopefully, you know, it's the normal for us now. We've been in that stadium. We've experienced it. There's no uncertainties. We know what it'll be like, and hopefully we can get that win. So can I just grab a score prediction off you?
Yeah, score prediction for me tomorrow. I'm going to go with 2-1 Aston Villa. Goal scorers being Jack Grealish and Conor Hourihane, and no one for Chelsea because I don't know who's going to score for them.
Cool, mate. Thank you for your call. You're a legend. Okay.
No problem.
It's
Thanks
been great
again.
talking to you.
You too. Thanks.
Thank
Bye.
you. So we're on our last caller of the night now. We're joined by Seb. So how did you feel like yesterday went?
Loads of positives, loads of negatives, really. I mean, our inability to find the back of the net worries me.
Yeah.
But defensively, we looked really tight and compact. You know, we didn't really offer them any chances, any real good, clean-cut chances. So in that department, we've had the worst defence in the league. I think we looked a lot better, as if we've trained on that a lot. Yeah. However, it seems to be comically, whenever our defence has a good game, our attack can't score. Whenever our attack can't score, our defence just let them through.
Yeah. So I've spoke to this at some of the other callers as well. You know, we all touched on how good we looked at the back. Like you've just said, we conceded one shot on target where in the past we've been conceding like about 15 chances a game. So like you say, that was a lot better. But again, it stifles us going forward. And I feel like going forward, having said if that was the first game of a season, we'd all be saying, you know, really good, you know, going forward, we can move on different aspects. We can push further forward, create more chances, but we got 9 games to go. So I don't really want to see that type of performance for the next 9 games because I just don't think it's going to be enough to stay in the league. Somehow we need to be scoring more. But then on the other hand, I think we did have some good chances yesterday to at least score. I think, you know, Keenan had the volley, the header at the back post, that was another one. McGinn's chance, the ball that went across the box. Yeah. So maybe we were just a little bit unlucky yesterday in a sense of it just wouldn't go in for us. So moving forward, would you make any more changes or are you happy to sort of stick with that same lineup?
I've seen on Twitter people banding around the 2 up front, you know, and that would offer us a new sort of dynamic. But Smith likes to stick to what he knows. Yeah. So whether we will see Davis and Samata form as a partnership, I'm not too sure. I think Nyland obviously bar his error.
Yeah.
Well, would you call it an error or really a mistake? Because I think Davis sort of, nudged him into the goal, really.
Do you not?
He's so strong and physical.
Yeah. Do you never think whenever we do concede, it is always a mistake? Because
Yeah.
whenever I watch Villa,
Seems like it.
we've never been cut open and absolutely destroyed by Barcelona tiki-taka, or it always seems like whenever we concede, it's our fault. And again, yesterday we had the Nyland. I mean, if that had gone in, I don't know. Well, it did go in, but if that had have stood,
Oh, yeah.
going, and then Courtney Hawes passed it to one of their strikers, didn't they? And
Yes, yeah.
you know what I mean? That was our mistake again.
Yeah.
We've got to stop doing that, because Chelsea would punish you in that position. And we thought...
I think any team would punish you in that position, really. I think we got really lucky. You know, goal line technology, the first time in 9,000 games that it hasn't worked. Yeah. And obviously it's involved in a Villa game, you know. It wouldn't be Villa without us making some sort of error to make it harder for ourselves.
Yeah,
I don't think I've ever supported a Villa team where, you know, we get cut open, like you said, by nice free-flowing passes. You know, even the Man City, the team most known for their beautiful football, they opened us up with a long ball from Edison.
Yeah.
Liverpool, they scored from a corner.
Yeah.
I can't remember a goal where it's been beautiful play.
But
we seem to kick ourselves in the foot.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. So, obviously, watching Villa all season, every time we concede, it's always from our mistakes. So, yeah, we got lucky yesterday. I think defensively we did look better. The shape looked better. We looked better on corners, attacking corners. I thought we posed more of a threat, where I thought we've been quite weak before. So on that front, again, positive. How do you feel Jack played yesterday?
I don't think it was one of his best games.
Yeah.
I think he almost... Do you remember at the start of the season, it took him 3 or 4 games to really get into it? I think I worry that might be the same case here. Yeah. Maybe not as long, but he seemed to be a bit lethargic on the ball. Maybe took him a split second extra to make that decision of what to
I'm
do,
with you on that.
When it maybe didn't take him that last time.
Yeah, when I was watching it yesterday, I just thought... He's not up to 100% here. And I know we're watching it and we're thinking we want us to win, we want to be bang at it straight away. But we have got 9 games left and we can't feel our way into these next 9 games. We can't be like, we played well against Sheffield United. Yeah, we lost to Chelsea, but we did play well. We can't keep coming away from games like that. We've got to bite this bullet and we've got to just get these points whichever way we can. I thought Keenan Davis played really well. Do you feel Jack needs to be closer to him?
To a degree.
Yeah.
But my worry is if we push him too further forward to play with Keenan, does that leave the defence... stuck? Because you could see whenever the defence got the ball, their main target was, where's Jack? Give him the ball. He'll get us forward. If he's so far up the pitch to Keenan, they're just going to have to lump it and we're going to go back to almost the Bruce football.
Yeah, definitely. So I see your point there. I just feel like just watching it yesterday and when I went to my last Villa game was the Leicester away game, it was just, we've got our star player and he's the best player that we have got. And I always, whenever I watch Villa, and I come away from games thinking Jack didn't touch the ball half as much as what I think he should have touched it, or he had the impact in the game that he should have had. I always come away thinking we slightly should have been, we should have done better. Basically, I'm just thinking maybe we need to. I just think when he goes more central, the pitch lights up for Villa, and I feel like as soon as he's central, we spring into life and things happen. I think when he drifted inside and he gave it to McGinn, Grealish was like more in field. I just feel like when he's picking it up out wide on the left, a lot's got to happen.
Chances are limited.
Yeah, a lot's got to happen because if you're saying he's doubled up already, you've got to beat 2 players before he even can get anywhere near the 18-yard box. That's my only thing about him being out wide. I just feel like in the next 9 games, he's going to be crucial to us. like you were saying about him coming into the next few games, we don't have that time, do we?
No. But to counteract your point, I think every single player in that squad is going to be crucial in these next 9 games.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, I'm not being funny. We're in a dog fight here with 5, 6 other teams.
Yeah.
You know, we can't just rely on Jack to pull us through.
Yeah.
Because chances are, and as a Villa fan, I don't want to admit this, but chances are he's not going to be here next season.
No, definitely.
You know, so we've got to. It's almost like a baby taking their first baby steps without their mum and dad holding on. Got to let them do it because when he goes, we're just going to be stuck to Route 1.
To be
really.
fair, Dean Smith did allude to that yesterday, didn't he? He did come out and say, like, we've got 10 other players than Jack, and I totally get your point. I know what you mean, but I just think he's got to be more in that game for me.
100%.
He just has to be. So who else do you think stood out for you yesterday?
I kept a really close eye on Douglas Luiz.
Yeah.
I was impressed with what I saw with him. I think his defensive positioning was a lot better.
Definitely.
He seemed to read the game a lot better. You know, whether that's got anything to do with the fans not being there or whether that's just a time off him, you know, learning and understanding the game. But he sort of looked like he'd come out of his shell a bit more, which I like to see.
Yeah, so in the last 3 callers that we've had on as well, everybody has alluded to the fact that he was really good. His positioning was good. When he was picking up the ball, he seemed to have a little bit of swagger about him, which he's shown at times. So, and for me, I felt like he was the one that looked most match fit and sharp. I was watching him thinking he looks a little bit more at it than everybody else for some reason. So, like you said, I think he was really good. How did you feel about watching it at home? You know, not being in the crowd or no fans.
I mean, I don't think any fan, if you speak to any football fan in the world, they will go, "Oh yeah, no, I prefer sitting at home and watching it on the telly." You know, I think I'd forgotten how nervous I can be watching Villa. You know, I want to walk out, but something within me just says, you know what, stay, watch the game.
Yeah.
And it's horrible. It's horrible. But, you know, these are weird times at the moment. So you've just got to trust the team to do what they can do best and, you know, sit home and observe.
I think reflecting on the game and thinking what it would have been like if we were there, it sort of needed that Watford sort of crowd yesterday. And I feel like we could have probably got them over the line a little bit with, you know, when the crowd builds and the intensity builds, and even when there's a flood, like near the halfway line, we're all going for it. And I felt like yesterday it petered out a little bit.
I don't think you can underestimate Villa fans' influence at Villa Park. You know, every club says this, but I genuinely think we help the team as much as we sometimes hinder them. But, you know, it can be a real confidence booster for them. It picks them up and it drives them over the line when maybe they're not up to it.
So going into Chelsea, are you confident? Do you feel like we can win? Would you change anything or?
No, I'm not confident. No, I don't think we'll win. I'm one of those fans.
Yeah.
But, you know, you never know.
Yeah.
It's Chelsea's first game in these conditions.
Yeah.
Again, it's at Villa Park, so anything could happen, really.
It's
up to that team. You don't know. You can just see it not working for us now, can't you? But, who knows what's going to happen? You can't really predict these sorts of games.
Do you feel like we do have a slight advantage having already experienced playing, or do you think no?
Grasping onto any advantage we can get.
We've got 9 games in the relegation zone, so
no, I know. I think it could help us. I really could. Whether it will, you know, it's up to that team to use that as an advantage now. They've got that advantage. They need to grasp onto it with all they've got and use it to propel them forward now.
Yeah, cool. So can I just grab a score prediction for you?
2-0.
Villa.
Make of that what you will.
Okay. Well, 2-0 Villa. That's it. Sorted. Thank you for your call, mate. It's been really nice talking to you.
No worries. Speak to you soon.
So that concludes all of the callers for this week's episode. It's been great chatting to all of the Villa fans, hearing their thoughts on the game against Sheffield United. There's positives, negatives. We've got a lot to do, a lot to work on. Back to the training ground, and hopefully we can bang at it for the Chelsea game. I just want to say thanks to all the Villa fans so far that have showed their support to us on YouTube, on Twitter, and have got involved. It's been great chatting to you all, and this is what it's all about, getting you guys on board, giving yourself a voice and a platform to share your thoughts on Aston Villa. So it's been great chatting to you all. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you can like and subscribe to the video, follow us on Twitter as well, that would be great. Up the Villa.